Well, g'day fishers. Welcome to our long weekend fishing report. Well, those winter westerlies are still with us this weekend, unfortunately, but I reckon you'll be able to get out of it somewhere, whether it be off the rocks or the beach or even the estuary. There'll be some quiet corners around that you can get out of it. We'll mention those in a minute. So if you're like me, I'm going to work a little bit over the weekend, but cold is painful to me. So there you go. I don't enjoy the cold weather whatsoever, even though I've got some really, really good outerwear to wear out in that cold weather. I just don't like fishing in the cold weather. I'm becoming a bit of a sook in my older age. But anyway, give it a crack. So in the estuary this week, got to make special mention to Jack and Jill. Yep, that's right, Jack and Jill. They actually fished Nunya Point, little brim spot that I found out about. I actually saw it with my own eyes, and they actually smashed the brim. So they did really well on some absolute stonking brim. I saw one there, 42 centimetres, a bit over a kilo. So an absolute beauty. So good mention to Jack and Jill. I had to mention them, otherwise they were going to say, hey, we don't ever get a mention in the fishing report. But there you go. Jack and Jill, Nunya Point, you did really well on those brim. Like I said, I did see it, believe it or not. So plenty of brim around in the bay at the moment. Both the breakwalls, the Anchorage and Nelson Bay breakwall, fishing really well for brim. You've got to fish an incoming tide. You've got to fish a really light fluorocarbon leader, 6 to 8 pound, virtually unweighted bait, or if you're going to add any sort of lead, just a size 0 ball sinker straight to the top of the hook. Just keep it really, really simple. No swivels. Just sink it straight on top of the hook, free running. Don't fix that sinker and away you go. The best baits for those brim are going to be the salted mullet fillet, salted bonito fillet, or those big local king prawns. So we've got all those in stock for the long weekend as well. So definitely worth a fish for brim this weekend. Lead up to the full moon, they should fire up, I reckon. Also worth a shot at Wanda Headland. Now Wanda will be protected a little bit out of that westerly. Definitely worth a shot. And also the wharf there behind Bannisters or opposite the Soldiers Point Bowling Club. Always good out of the westerly there, but you want to get there early and late. Great spot for the kids this weekend as well, so you'll get out of the wind if they want to go for a fish. So in the estuary, like I said, it's mainly going to be the brim. There might be a few flatties around those quieter flats right up in the shallow. That water is definitely dropping off, but it'll be worth maybe having a crack at a few flatties in those shallower margins this weekend. The Ludrick has started to turn up along the breakwall, although a lot of guys are fishing the inside of the breakwall at Nelson Bay, where the marine rescue boats are. There's a few Ludrick in there. The key there is you've got to fish a really light leader, 6 to 8 pound fluorocarbon to get them to bite, and make sure you've got the right depth as well. About 6 to 8 feet fishing at the moment. So give that a crack. If you're keen on your Luddos, if the wind drops, or then the outside of the breakwall will fish pretty well. You could fish the very end of the breakwall, always fishes well for Ludry. Likewise, the Anchorage, that corner, that first corner there, fishes pretty well too. So give that a crack if you're land-based. I think getting the tinny out this weekend is going to be a little bit hard, although looking at Monday and the forecast on Tuesday, if you want to have an extra day off for the long weekend, looks pretty good. So get Saturday and Sunday out of the road. Monday, Tuesday look glamour. So there you go. So that's the bay in a nutshell at the moment. I think the big key this weekend will be fishing the beaches and the rocks with the westerly, especially places like Boxy, Fingal, 1 Mile, Samurai. All those beaches will fish pretty well. Even Kingsley, you'll get out of the westerly there. Aim up to fish those incoming tides, and I think you'll do pretty well on brim. There will be still the odd whiting around if you're keen to do that. There's been plenty of salmon starting to roll up on the beaches as well as some really nice tailor, and be worth a mulloway fish this weekend. Whether you're going to bait fish, we'll go and throw those big soft plastics, those big paddle tails in the gutters. I think this weekend will be worth it. If there's a little bit of swell, just pick those gutters, and I reckon you'll probably find there'll be a mulloway hanging around the beaches this weekend. On the rocks, definitely worth a shot. Just watch that swell. It is going to pick up a little bit. But Port Stephens, there's plenty of areas through Boulder Bay, through Fingal, all the way down to Rocky and Boat Harbour. You can actually get out of the swell and catch a few fish. Just be mindful of that swell, but we're lucky here that we've got those protected pockets. You can actually still fish off the rocks. So bread and butter species this weekend, I reckon Ludrick, brim, be the go, drummer in the washes. And there'll be a few snapper around when that swell picks up as well. So if you're going to float a bait in the washes, I definitely reckon you'll get bit by a snapper this weekend. Salmon and Taylor, Bonito off 1 Mile Point there, and also off Barry Park at Fing will be worth a shot too. So keen on doing that. Heard of a couple of longtails caught off Tomaree still. Plenty of mac tuna mixed in. Plenty of sharks eating them. I actually heard of a snapper that got eaten as well off Tomaree this week. So there's a couple of whalers still hanging about off Tomaree at the moment. Now the offshore scene, to be honest with you, it's going to be tough. You may be able to sneak a session in there, or maybe early Saturday morning, but I think Monday, Tuesday will definitely be the go, and I'd be itching to get out there Monday afternoon or Tuesday for a snapper bash after the swell. There's been some really good snapper. I snuck out last Friday afternoon with Shane in his tinny. We got some nice fish, got busted up as well, just around the back of Little Island there on the soft plastic. So did really, really well on the reds, got a feed. lost some good ones, and that was the last time I've fished, but because of the wind. So I think if you can get out there early next week, you'll do pretty well on the reds. But nil reports at the moment. So looking at rip charts, there's a bit of altimetry forming up out the front of Port Stephens, a long way out, 60, 70 miles. We'll keep an eye on that, see if that pushes in. We might see our first bit of yellowfin action for the season. So we'll see how we go there. Anyway, enjoy your long weekend. Keep warm, I reckon. Anyway, we'll talk next week.